All right, all right, all right, all right. We are live. Episode number 8 of Reptiles and Cocktails. And my very, very special guest is Dre from DWxoticz. As I said in the introduction, that this is actually going to be a good live for reptile keepers and breeders, but also non-reptile people as well. And I say that because Dre brings a lot of education to the reptile community. And so we're going to dive into a lot of the things that and topics that we're challenged with in the reptile community, but from an educational perspective as well. To kind of, like I said, every time we do a podcast, my thought process is to kind of try to open and broaden people's perspectives of animal keeping and educate people who are animal keepers. So, with that being said, and without further ado, we're going to bring on Dre. And there he
Yo,
goes.
what's
Hey,
going
hey,
on?
hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
Good. So, we know you had an eventful day, but outside of that,
To say the least.
great. All right. So, one of the things that I really want to dive into with you. Now, I know a lot about Dre, guys, so this is going to be a kind of weird interview for me. So I'm interviewing for you guys, not for me. So tell me, in your opinion, what do you think that DWxoticz brings different to the reptile community? And not in your opinion, because we know that you're going to say it very matter of fact.
um, I mean, I don't know. For me, I literally just try to be myself. I don't want to. I'm not the type of person that's gonna do stuff for views or attention or anything in general. So, I get on there. I try to be my most humble self and bring quality videos that I know people will enjoy, people will like, and I try to basically put out videos that I feel like I would want if I was watching. That's kind of what sparked me to do a YouTube anyway. I felt like there were just like a lot of things out there missing in YouTube, so I want to just kind of bring my stuff together and put it out there on YouTube for people to enjoy. So,
Got you. All right. And so, in your reptile keeping, tell the people what animals you do own.
oh yeah, I get a little bit of everything. I'm not a breeder. Um, I'm not breeding anything. I do have only one ball python in my collection, but I got emerald tree boa, green tree python, jungle carpet python. Have a common boa, blood python, red tail boa, retic, berm, Mexican black king snake. I have a beaded lizard, Gila monster, and a Schneider's dwarf caiman or smooth front caiman. So I got a little bit of everything. Very eclectic, diverse collection. I don't think I missed out on any. Oh, I got a scaleless Texas rat snake, ball python. I don't think I missed out on anybody. So yeah.
I did hear carpet python. It seemed like you
Uh-huh.
did miss something. Beaded
Yeah.
lizard. Did you say beaded lizard?
Beaded lizard, Gila
Okay.
monster, and the caiman. So yeah.
Okay. And out
Yep.
of all of them, I'm not going to say what's your favorite because I know you're like me. That's tough to say. But which animal you find right now most intuitive with you? Like, what's that one that is really teaching you new things?
Hmm. So I got a couple. As far as snakes, I'm gonna say Luther, which is my biggest boa, the 7 foot one. Just because he's number one, he's so big, and he's even though he's so big, he likes to get out and explore. So I literally try to
Yep.
really be in tune with him for him being so big, and just make sure that he's cool. And then all of the lizards, really, definitely the caiman, because a lot of people see me with the caiman and are like, "Oh, I want one," and I'm just like, "You got to know what you're getting yourself into." Me, I know what I'm, ready. I know what I'm getting into or what I got into, but I'm also excited for that journey because I'm not really, I didn't get the Cayman to try to see how tame I can get him. I would like for him to be tolerable, but not necessarily tame, but I would love to show people the work that goes into keeping, crocodilians, and but also teach people about them as I'm learning about them myself, but just do things the right way.
Got you. Hey, Bosa.
Yo, I see GP in
Yep.
here.
Hey, Gershon. What it do, brother from another mother? Twins, right?
Right.
Um, okay. So with that being said, which reptile, and I know the carpet python you studied a lot about, but
Mhm.
outside of the carpet python, which snake is your most, the one that's teaching you something? Like I can't, like you know so much, but what is that one that is just literally teaching you new things out of your snakes?
Honestly, I would say the green tree
Hey
python.
Q.
Um, what's going on? The green tree python was at the top of my list for a long time. That was the one snake. Like I'm like I gotta have this snake. So getting it as a yellow neonate and watching it go through the OCC or the ontogenetic or however you say it, the color change, and just watching how they grow, just watching how they kind of interact at night because a lot of people don't realize that they're super active at night. They don't stay perched 100% of the time, but
Yep.
they'll perch a lot more than carpet pythons, although they're in the same family. But the green tree pythons, especially since mine is captive, they're very intuitive, very intelligent. And I handle mine every now and then, but I still know when to not handle him because he still, has his days where he's like, "Hey, me alone," or he's expecting food. So definitely the green tree python, the berm for sure, and the retic. That my retic peaches. She's probably the newest member that I'm learning a lot from because she's definitely a little fiery, which I
Mhm.
expected. Like
Mhm.
I take her out, she's very shy, so I'm still getting her, kind of used to me and habituated with me. And she does not like the camera. So what I do when I take pictures, I'll literally be like 4 feet back, and then I'll just zoom in to kind of get that perfect picture of her. Because I don't want her stressed out because of the camera. Because I got too close one day and she bit my camera, and I'm like, oh, luckily she's small and my camera is big. But the the intelligence that I see from that snake, and she is so young, it's crazy,
Yeah,
and
so
it's nuts.
I'm can't wait. I probably actually released this video today, but first of all, yours has dwarf blood, right? Yours is a dwarf.
25% Gen Pay, so not a lot.
Okay. So what I found, the dwarf that I just got is
Hmm.
way more intense than any of the mainlands that I own as babies. Like my mainlands as babies were pretty much the same as they are now,
Hmm.
but the dwarf, and I think they're so much smaller as babies than the mainlands. But I noticed with mine, it's just you got to turn his food response off quickly and just
Yep.
scoop him up.
Yep.
Don't give him a chance to become defensive.
Yeah. So with her,
Or her. I keep calling
I
her
can say
him.
so she's the only snake that I have that actually bites at the hook. Most of my snakes know, you know what I'm saying? So most of my snakes know, oh, it's the hook. I'm not getting fed. And like I said, she's my newest snake. So, but even when she's biting with any of my snakes, if they're biting at the hook or even striking, I still just kind of coax them out because 9 times out of 10, if I'm pulling them out, I have to do something. The only snake that I go in there with the hook, and if he doesn't want to be messed with, I leave him alone as Luther, my 7 foot boa, because he's the one. He's too big, and his strike range is a lot bigger. So I don't have time to be fumbling around with him. And but he only does that when he's in shed or going in shed. So it's easy for
Got
me to
you.
read that. So if I go in there with this hook, I'm like, okay, he's gonna be shedding in a couple of days, and literally like clockwork, he's literally going in blue. So what I'll do is I'll move his hide, I'll make sure he's got fresh water and literally soak everything down. And then I'll leave him alone. And then once that shed is out, he's cool. And then he's like, all right, I want my rat. I feed him 3, 4 days later, back to his happy self.
Got you. Yeah, I think again, it's the reptiles have their days and we should
Mm-hmm.
respect that. And I think that specifically with retics is what I tell people as babies, the tone you set when they're babies is what you want to get as adults because they calculate everything. So if they
Yes.
associate every time they see you with pain or discomfort, that's what's going to happen. I remember, and it's the same thing with boas. I remember Andre Holloway in the group had first when he had first came to the group, and it was so funny. He was talking about this boa and how mean the boa was, and I was like, "Have you ever had a bad interaction with this boa?" He was like, "Yeah, one day this happened, and I sprayed it in his face with alcohol." I'm like, "Yes, that's why I don't like you. It has forgotten that you the alcohol, dude."
So all of my snakes have gotten testy with me, but I don't have none of my snake. I don't have any of my snakes that was hard to tame down. Like I can handle even my emerald tree boa. He's probably the feistiest. Even the retic, when she's on my arm, she's fine.
Mhm.
That emerald tree boa is the one snake like leave me alone. And he's a tree snake, so I don't bother him a lot. But I don't have one snake that I've never handled. I don't. If I can't handle you, I don't want you.
Right.
And I don't handle often. However, if it's just like that emergency where I'm like, oh snap, I need to go ahead and just grab you out real quick. I don't want a full size emerald tree boa coming at me with a mouthful of teeth. No.
Right.
So I want them habituated to some type of degree. So I try to handle everybody. Like the tree snakes, I'll do maybe once every other month. My green tree python, I posted pictures of. She's fine, or he's fine. The emerald tree boa, I can have him in my hand, and he's still like, I'm gonna get you, like striking at my face. I'm like, bruh, but
Yeah.
it's literally one of them
So
things
I
where it's just
think
like
that's
I've
the
been
only
bitten
one.
before, and I've been bitten
Mhm.
before, and he's still small, so it don't bother me too much. But it's one of them things where I was like, I've been bit by snakes before. It is what it is. If I get bit, it's okay. I'll try not to, but I'll literally sometimes just let him perch up on my hand, hold him over here, away from my face. He don't got a big reach, and I'll do whatever I need to in his cage, and then I put him back in. So I try to be hands on as much as possible with all of my snakes. So with them,
Right.
it's like once a month, once every other month.
Right.
My boas and pythons, it's they don't really don't care. Carpet python, he'll just kind of climb up on my arm. And then I'm working the retic, just kind of into that pattern, and I can't wait to be able to spend a lot more time with her because although she's dwarf, she's still gonna be a big girl.
Mhm.
She'll be probably my biggest snake, because her mom was 14 foot, her dad was
Mhm.
10 foot, so I'm expecting her to still be a decent sized girl. Then I still got the berm, um, even though he's male, he's still gonna get a nice size. And he's one of those bark don't bite. He struck at my face a couple times because I got like I'm I'm not clumsy, but there's times when I'll just be like, I got one track mind, and I like open his tub and I go to lean over and grab something, and
Hey,
he'll be
Nay
like,
Nay.
and I'll just be like, oh dang, well, oh well, he ain't get me. But it's normal for me. And I'm just like, well, if he would have got me, he would have got me, but it don't bother me.
Yep. GP said, "How's your emerald tree ball with being handled?" That's
We're
what he
still
was just
Yeah,
talking about a
we
little
still working
bit.
on him. He's still working on
Yeah,
especially like
they're
at night.
different.
Especially like at night. And I try not to even try to handle him at night.
Mhm.
But a lot of the times I don't go see my snakes until after I get off work. So it's just like it's nighttime and I'll be like, oh, dang. But
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
not even bothering with the green tree at night. Now the good thing is, so the weird thing is that I'm more afraid of getting bit by the green tree python than I am any retic. Now,
Mhm.
I don't understand the logic. I just think that for me, let me tell you what it is. It's the way that green tree python strikes. It's like a venomous strike. It's not like a, let me stand tall and then strike. That thing just goes.
So
So
yeah.
I am at a point now where I will handle it without gloves because once it's out, it'll strike once going in, coming out of the enclosure. But once it's out, it's fine. I still don't let it go in my face because for some reason, if you notice, they go up. That's just what they want to
They're
do.
arboreal. They want to find out, just like
Yeah.
bows, they want to find the highest point. I will say, come visit.
Bosa said that hoodie is on point.
Appreciate that. Speaking of, I ain't
He ain't
announced
give
it
out
yet.
no free ones though, Bosa. I mean, we spent a few
Hey,
days in
oh,
Philly, and
you
we
know what I'm
ain't getting
saying?
nothing free. I mean, he was
Got,
fresh,
got the
every day, but we
got the
ain't getting
stay
no free
exotic on
stuff.
the sleeve. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? This is an exclusive, but I will say I do got some merch dropping soon, so I'm gonna get a bunch of these made. I got t-shirts and hoodies coming, so I'll make sure everybody get one. The
Cool.
hoodies will probably be made to order, so that way I can get size and everything like that. But
Cool.
um, you ever come to visit me, get bit by that caiman, and I bet you'll happily take that green tree python bite. I had the caiman out the other day, and I'm suspecting it's a girl bit me, but I've just been around animals for so long, and it's just like I've been bit by dogs, I've been bit by
Right.
cats, I've been bit by guinea pigs, rabbits, snakes, rats, gerbils, hamsters, and honestly, the worst bite I've ever had was from a hamster. I cannot stand hamsters, but the caiman, they apply a little pressure. It's different. That's that we talking crocodilian bite now. So
Right. The impact.
I'll take
Impact
that.
bite.
I'll take a snake bite any day. Or
Yeah.
I got two venomous lizards. Your choice.
Mhm. Well, that's the jaw pressure too, and that's one of the things I say to anybody. Like I say, I'll take a snake bite, I'll take a retic bite over a tegu or Asian water monitor bite. To be honest,
Oh,
the
most
pressure
definitely.
of their jaws is a little different. So
Mhm.
definitely. Let me see. Bosa said I want a green tree python, but now that you look, I would say this.
Listen,
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I think I honestly think that they're both of them are beautiful snakes. It's just the
I
fact
could
that they got some serious teeth.
I couldn't decide between one, so I got them both. And you know me, I gotta get everything.
Well, you know, I wanted one, and it was between the two, and you helped me settle on a green tree python,
I
and
remember.
all I needed was one. It was no way I was getting both. That was out of the question.
So
Definitely for me.
I don't breed currently, but I do plan on getting into green tree python breeding eventually.
Hey,
Mine
Reggie.
mine is a male, so I looking for a female for him soon. He's got a bunch of different things in him, but he's like a I'm not gonna get all technical, but he's got like the designer in him. But basically, he's a Maroc, which is a locality green tree python mixed with high yellow biak, which is another locality green tree python, and he's got some other things in there. So um, I want to kind of jump into the high yellow project and see what I can come up with. So
So, what are your plans? Like, so you collecting all these exotic animals
right,
to stay exotic.
right,
Um,
right.
right. But outside of that, like, do you plan on opening up your own facility? Like, where do you want to go with it?
So definitely, my main focus is going to be the educational aspect. I mean, if I'm being honest, we don't have a lot of black people doing that, the educational piece. Not saying nobody's educated, but we don't have a lot of representation honing in specifically on exotic husbandry and education. So a facility is definitely like my main goal. However, I do plan to kind of split off and do some breeding of maybe some advanced snake. So my three that I want to breed would be blood pythons, green tree pythons, and carpet pythons. Those are
Got
my
you.
three. And down the road, depending on how it goes, if I can find a male. So I have a very high end red tail boa. She's a Pokeground Suriname red tail boa. If I can find her a male down the road, then definitely some of those because people are always looking for captive bred. And then the line, like I said, she's a Pokeground. And so there's a guy named Jim Vargan who kind of founded the Pokeground line. He does a lot of intense reds, and that's what line she comes from. So you saw the pictures I posted yesterday, the black and white and everything. So that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what she is. So I would really want to try to keep going with that. And I get people literally asking me every day where I got my red tip or if I didn't know any breeders. So I'm like, well, I need to go ahead and
Hey,
become a
hola
breeder.
Esteban, ¿cómo está?
Oh, that Reggie, I didn't even see Reggie pop in here.
Yeah, Reggie came in. Came. Reggie's there. So, when it comes to the reptiles and your daughter, like, do you teach her how to, or like expose her to them, or you still kind of keep her away from everything?
So the only time she sees them is when they are in their enclosures.
Okay.
She's two, so I don't quite want to just push that on her quite yet. Because she's two. She well, 2 year olds is crazy, cuckoo for cocoa puff. So she's in that crazy, she's in that crazy stage where she's running around going
Yeah.
crazy, and I don't I don't want her to have I don't want her first interaction to be a bad interaction
Yeah.
where she grabs a snake the wrong way and it bites her, and vice versa. I don't want the snake to have a bad reaction. So I let her know that they're there. Um, but I also just kind of want her to get a little older to where she'll understand, and then kind of push her into it. But do we sit by the cages and talk about them like she knows the difference between a snake and a lizard? for sure. But as far as her like touching and holding, not quite yet. Not quite yet.
Got you.
She's still putting fingers in mouths, and I was like, you know what, we're not going to do that just yet. But she definitely likes to sit down by Luther's enclosure and just stare. And
Okay.
usually in the daytime, he's on top of his hide, coiled up under the light, and they'll just stare at each other. And yeah,
Esteban, sí, yo hablo basta español. So, I love the language. I really do. So my husband always joked that when we go to the islands and I get drunk, that's how much Spanish he really knows. He really learns that I know. He said, "Cause you get fluent
I
when
believe
you
it.
drunk."
You was fluent in Chicago, fluent crazy.
Look, I told him. First of all, outside of work, that was the first trip. Now we used to travel everywhere before COVID. I mean, every island. We just seen the world. COVID shut us down. Like we didn't do nothing. You couldn't come in our house, anything for 2 years. So I've had to travel for work, but that was the first time we actually traveled together for a trip. Was Tinley.
Hey, I had
So I
fun with
told
y'all.
him, I
Well,
said
it's a
it's
good
going to just
time.
like be like vacation. When we get to the airport, the first bar that's open, let's
Yeah.
start drinking. We're gonna drink on the plane. We're gonna drink while we there. So y'all don't realize. See, he's not a big drinker. I was drunk probably the whole time I was there.
Well, I did all the. We're not gonna talk about that. Gershon, no.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had to drive, so I was like, yeah, we're cool. I got a baby with me.
Yes. Um. So Esteban. So I just literally finished cleaning my the one rat rack we built. I would say, and I'm gonna be honest, Gershon. I'm going to shout this out. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. One, where I have them, you can't smell them. And I ask my husband every single day. I'm only cleaning them. Of course, it's not 10, 15 colonies in there. But I'm only cleaning them like two times a week. And even then, that's just because I don't want them to smell.
Y'all can have that.
But look, I'm falling in love with these damn rats. So that's going to be the hard part. Like I'm in there like, cleaning them out today. I'm playing with them. They've
Listen,
gotten used to me. They don't bite or anything. They've gotten used to me. They were just climbing in my hand today. My husband just shaking his head like she's playing with the food. It's all a setup. It's all a setup.
that's the one
But
thing that
it's
would
cool,
never.
Trey. I
I look,
said never. I did.
I worked in the pet store for 6 years. There ain't nothing about a rat that I like that's just gonna make me want to bring it home. I mean, I do frozen anyway, but even the live ones, I'm just like, I mean, yeah, you cool, but that snake hungry at the end of the day, you know.
So this is the thing. I don't want to have to, because most of my animals, all of them, really, all of my pets eat frozen thawed.
Hmm.
The new hatchlings in the rack, or some of them won't eat frozen thawed. A couple, so I have to go to on Sundays, go to Colombia and bring them back. And that's like 45 minutes. So that was the main reason why I wanted to breed them. And I probably would sell them because I don't think I could actually euthanize them. Q said, Dre, what was your first reptile and how old were you when you got it?
That is a good question. So that's actually what started everything for me. So little fun fact about me, I've said it on Instagram a couple times. I actually used to be terrified of snakes when I was younger. Um, but my mom, when I, living at home, my mom was like, no snakes. So I got heavy into lizards. So the first lizard I brought home, which was a mistake, was a green iguana. I went to this pet store. It was like at this time, this was like 2000, it was like 2009, 2010. I had just graduated. It was 2010. I just graduated high school, and green iguanas were like $20. So I bought, this nice elaborate setup, which I thought was nice and elaborate, but it wasn't big enough for this iguana. So basically, it was a 40 breeder, but I had all the climbing and everything, and this iguana was like this big. But as I
Mm-hmm.
realized it's growing, and it turned out to be a male, and it got real feisty. And before I got this caiman tattoo on my arm, I had a scar here from when that iguana whipped the hell out of me. And basically, I ended up getting rid of the iguana, but that's what basically made me dive in headfirst into more education because I ain't had no business getting that animal. The only issue is I didn't have anybody to tell me you shouldn't get that or do
Hmm.
you know what this is? So that's why I really try to like I get so many people that DM me on Instagram and I try to respond to everybody because if you need help, I'm gonna help you. If you ask me a question, I do my best to respond to you, but I didn't have that. And then the pet store didn't have people who would tell you like, hey, you probably shouldn't get this, and you just go in there. So I literally went and worked at that pet store, and the longer I worked there, I got to change the narrative because I'm just like, pet stores already get a bad rap. We need to be educated on the animals that we sell. So I pushed real hard to try to stop selling iguanas, but to answer the question, I was like 15 and it was a green iguana. And that's literally what prompted the whole education craze and really trying to get people to do a lot of heavy research before because no way in hell should you get, if you've never had a reptile before, don't go out getting no tegu and it's your first reptile. For what?
Right.
Don't do that.
Well, I would say, hey Antoine.
Ah, my man, Luke Cage.
Yeah, it definitely it's not a good idea. And it's so funny for me, like I didn't even desire other than the alligator, and that was because growing up alligators was common in my community.
Mm-hmm.
But other than the alligator, I didn't like iguanas. I never desired anything like that. Not even the Asian water monitor. It was when I held the Asian water monitor. And my husband was like, absolutely no alligators, but that Asian water monitor still gave me that, oh my God, feeling.
Right.
And so that's what why I ended up getting that. But like as a kid, I was just really into, the snakes, not
Mm-hmm.
really the lizards until I got older. So yeah, I definitely agree. Tegus, it was a learning experience for me because I had people told me they were brewmates, right? And
Mm-hmm.
people even said a long time. But when that first year, when my tegu slept for 7 months, I'm telling y'all that was the worst ever. It's like to me, it's like impossible. Like how are you even going to do this? And one of them didn't even come up for water.
Yeah, I after that is when I jumped into bearded dragons, and that was the first animal I've ever bred. Um, that was fun. Breeding bearded dragons, man, that's some work. It ain't like breeding snakes. Breeding bearded dragons is some work.
Tell us
Um,
about that because I that's something I just don't know about. I would think that it would be a little
I
easier.
don't think it's something. So I've been on Instagram actually a while. So initially, my first name on Instagram was Midwest Beardies,
Okay.
and then it changed to Midwest Exotics because I didn't just have bearded dragons. I had a so my first tegu was a Colombian tegu. It wasn't an Argentine. It was the Colombian, the more aggressive one, and it really wasn't really more aggressive. It was just a lot of people just believe that narrative. But I was into kind of some of the oddballs. I had a plated lizard. I had the Colombian tegu. I did have a Savannah monitor at one point. Um, with the breeding bearded dragons, it wasn't bad. It was like again, it was the upkeep. So basically, I had 7 females and 3 males. And when I tell you, my male was always on go mode. He was ready. So he was a red leatherback. I took him to an orange citrus, and my goal was to get some orange leathers. And we did that. But after a while, I'm like, do I want to do this again? Because it just got crazy. And then I ran out of room. Mind you, this time I'm living at home, so everything is in my room.
Right.
That's it. Everything is in the room. So Bearded Dragons usually have 18. They can have 18 to 24. It was her first clip. She had 16. I'm like, that's not bad. So it was good. But once they all sold out, I was like, I ain't doing this no more. This is too much. This is too much. But if I had the time, sure. Because it's not like snakes. Snakes you can pair males and females, and you can walk away. Their ritual isn't as bad. Whereas male
Right.
bearded dragons get pretty rough. They go up to the female, they bite the female, then you also have to make sure the female will submit to the male. Otherwise, she'll fight back. And then there have been cases where I'll put a male in, which what I thought was a female, and then I'm like, oh shit, that's 2 males. So um breeding lizards for me is too it was too gruesome. At the one time when I got my finger bit by a bearded dragon, and like I said, it's a bearded dragon, but he was a big boy, and I thought my finger, I'm like, it made me bleed.
Hey,
And they got
FNA.
some, they got some nice little teeth on them, so there's just like a lot of lessons in that. I was like, no more.
So I want to do this, and I know I can do it with you. So this is the fun part again.
Okay,
Just like when you know the person you're interviewing, you can like do certain things that you can't do with other people. So
for
this,
sure.
if you could say, what would be your response to that non-reptile keeper who says, "I really, really want a snake, but I'm so scared." What would be your response? What would you tell them?
Mm, I would start off with saying is conquer your fear, because I've seen so many people that I've seen so many people think just going in buying a snake will help them conquer their fear, and in actuality, all they really do is create a defensive snake because they get it home and then they just hesitate, and then this snake is just sitting in his enclosure, and chances are, if they're scared of the snake, they're not feeding it frozen. They're just dropping a mouse or rat in there, and then
Right.
boom. So I just feel like it creates kind of a toxic environment for the snake. So I would say conquer your fear. So go out, touch a snake, hold a snake. Really just kind of get used to that before just jumping into getting one, and then from there, research and narrow it down to what kind of snake you want. I mean, it's definitely a process, but just jumping in head first, especially dealing with live animals. I mean, any animal for that matter. I mean, I know people scared of dogs. I'm sure they're not going to go out and just go get, a Rottweiler or something like that. So
Right.
they want to pet one. They want to go to the shelter, see them. Most people want a positive reaction before they go into something like that. So I always urge people. I literally just had this question the other day on TikTok. I always urge people to conquer their fear before jumping headfirst into it, because what if you jump into it and this snake isn't doing what you thought or want it to do, and it's really based on you. Snakes feed off of your reaction. So if you look nervous and you don't like the snake is secure, they're gonna be like, well, you shaking and I don't feel comfortable, so it's gonna be an issue. But you gotta start somewhere.
All right. So this will be the fun one. What would you say, Lord Jesus, to the person who says, "That snake, get it out of here. The only good snake is a dead snake."
I mean, I wouldn't say anything, but that's about it. Like, I mean, because so I just had this dude get mad at me on TikTok because I be just it's TikTok. Nobody take it serious. I be on
You
there
really be
just
trying
saying
to
stuff.
educate them, though. You could.
And well, he got
Fine.
upset because I did like the little TikTok, and it was just like when someone says my snakes are gonna size me up to eat me, he was just like, well, if you're that comfortable, why don't you take one out of the cage and sleep with it? And I was just like, and what were you trying to accomplish by this comment? So all in all, I ended the response where I was like, honestly, if you're a grown ass man, you scared of snakes, you a bitch, and I just left it at that. And he didn't like it because what are you scared of? And the one thing that I'll never understand is it's always the people who know nothing about these animals that try to tell us that deal with these animals
Right.
on a daily basis what these animals are capable of.
So
Turn
it's
off the
so
TV.
funny.
Like,
It was a post on Complex, and I normally do not post comment on reptile stuff out of reptile forums. But it was the whole, that video and the story about the snake sizing the lady up, and I just lost it. To this day, there's still non-reptile people coming on there and telling me, "You don't know nothing about a python." And I'm dying
man,
laughing
listen.
because I just want to keep posting pictures, like, with all the different pythons wrapped around me of different sizes. But it's so funny to see. I don't have to say anything. I learned through this post, though, there are non-reptile keepers who, although they are afraid, they still won't believe some of the stories that they hear. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I just feel like unfortunately there's more people that believe the BS, but we
Yep.
gotta also think about what world we live in. I had a conversation with somebody not so long ago, and he was like, I blame TV. TV kind of did a lot for the negative impact on the reptile community, and I said that's true. But what was created before TV? And he was like, I was like, the Bible. I understand that some people are religious, but let's not act like that doesn't play a role in.
Right.
I literally had people in my family tell me that snakes are the devil, and I'm just like, really?
Right.
Oh no,
Right.
it is what
Right.
it is.
No, a snake is a snake. The devil was a devil.
So I don't. I like to catch them in contradictions. I'm like, well, how can all things be created equal and be created by God, but these aren't good, but they were created by Him? It doesn't make any sense.
Or why wasn't snakes destroyed on the ark? Because I'm telling you, like all of that water, like hey,
That's another
um,
conversation.
that's another thing. So I love the religious road of this. Um, 41 South, hold the snake first, learn about a certain species that you like, then get everything you need for it, and then get one. Yep. Like, I mean, that was me for many years. It was just ball pythons. I knew I loved the bigger snakes. I knew I loved boas. I knew I loved berms. I was terrified. I'm telling you, every time that I sit in my retic room, I'm like, I got 8 retics. This chick was terrified of retics. You couldn't tell me that retics couldn't, do X, Y, and Z. So
My best part about owning reptiles, and people be like, "Well, I'm never coming to your house." I'm just like, I never
yep.
invited you anyway.
Right.
That is the best people repellent.
We don't like
Best.
people just showing up at our house anyway.
I don't care if you schedule a visit, like.
Yes. And my 2 largest retics like to, I don't know, because it's like a little small window right there. They like to like play and climb up near the front door. So, sure, go right ahead. Uh, let's see. Esteban said I had one of my ball pythons around my neck at a game, and a guy was like, "Dude, what are you doing with that out here? You should kill it. It's the devil." Shake my head. People who don't know something will fear it. Yeah. So one of the things I do like about the way that we're utilizing social media now
Mm-hmm.
is that I think there is a level of exposure on social media for reptiles, and people are less ashamed to even like on their personal pages share
Mm-hmm.
their love for reptiles. It's become more common, and through that, more people are getting exposed to animals.
Yep.
One of the rare times I took my snakes out like towards the end of last summer, it was definitely eye opening for me that if just somebody can just touch it and feel it,
Mm-hmm.
they would understand that snakes are not what they are. And I really enjoyed that day. It was me, my son, and my granddaughter, and we really educated some people and gave people that experience.
Yeah.
And even that day, one lady literally turned to her husband and said, "See, I told you I want a snake. I want a snake. They're not what you thought they were." So,
Not at all. Not at all. That's also, so I did a couple of years ago. I did a video in my reptile room where I had people who have never held snakes come over, and they held they got to pick out the snake that they wanted to hold, and they held it for the first time, and I recorded it, and that was probably
oh
one of my
yeah,
best
I watched
videos.
that video. I like
So
that video.
we're actually in the works to do a part 2,
Okay.
and we're going to up the ante and do it with bigger snakes.
So
So
one of them was your sister, wasn't it?
yeah,
I think
yeah,
she was the funniest one.
the the
She
one
was
with the gloves, yeah, that's my
hysterical.
sister. Yeah,
She
the
was
one
the
with the
funniest
gloves, that's
one.
my sister.
Yeah, I think Precious did one similar too. It was she had someone to come visit and
Hmm.
that person held the snake. That was really a good video.
Yeah, so
Um yeah,
it's dope. And then like I had multiple people, so it was like different reactions. Like I had some people that was like curious, I had some people that was nervous, and then my sister was just like, "Oh hell no," you know what I'm saying? So, and then it's funny because every now and then I'll post a little girl holding my snakes. That's her daughter that holds the snakes, and she's been around. She used to actually help me breed the bearded dragon. She's been around reptiles
okay.
for forever. So like Zeus, my berm, she wants to hold Luther. I'm like, yeah, you ain't graduated up there yet. You're not ready for that yet. So she's 10, so she's real eager about it. So honestly, I was actually trying to give her my ball python, but her mom was
She don't want that. She wants
it was
something a
like,
little bit more.
mm,
No, you're not late. You're right on time. You made it.
party just getting started.
You right on time. All right. So if you had a magical moment today and anything that you could change in the reptile community, what would that be? One
Mm.
snap.
I would say the toxicity. And what I mean by that is just too many. There's too many people that talk down on new keepers. If we're supposed to be educating people and helping people do better, these Facebook groups suck. Like, honest, that's where I see a lot of it is like these Facebook groups suck. And then we're asking for people's help with US art, but we talking down on people who truly, honestly, may not know better. And literally, word of mouth may help them and go a long way, but instead, it was talk down on them. You idiot. Like, I literally saw somebody ask a legit question in a Cayman group that I'm in, and they said, just asking, what's the difference between a Cuviersdorf Cayman and a smooth front Cayman? Immediately, well, if you don't know the difference, you shouldn't be asking. You shouldn't get one.
I wouldn't know.
I mean, it
I
wasn't
mean, if I
necessary.
decided to get a Cayman, I didn't even know it was that serious that you break them down like that.
I mean, there's only two door species, but they look very similar. But so I have the smooth front, which is the bigger of the smallest. The Cuviers is the smallest. They get like 3.5 to 4 foot. Mine gets 4.5 to 5 foot. So I have a smooth front or Schneider's Dwarf Cayman. So you have Paleosuchus palpebrosus, which is the Cuviers, and then Paleosuchus trigonatus, which is the smooth front. The smooth front, they they don't tame down as easy as the Cuviers. So you see, the Cuviers is what majority of Cayman keepers have because
Okay.
that stout size. They usually have like the stockier body with a shorter head, and then you have the smooth front, which they have the longer snout,
Welcome,
but they have a little bit more of
welcome.
an attitude. My man, what's going on? They have a little bit more of an attitude, and so it's like some people feel like, oh, well, I have this animal, so I'm better than you. It's like a ball swinging contest. It's like, bro, I don't care if you had 3 tigers in your backyard. That don't make you better than the next man because one mistake and then you go.
Yep.
I think we're all here to learn. We got too many people that feel like they know everything and they stuck to their old ways and don't want to change. And it's too much. It's toxic. It creates a toxic environment.
Yeah, and that's my theme is experience as a teacher. There's
Mm-hmm.
things like, especially like getting into the breeding side of ball pythons now. I'm in total school, learning
Mm-hmm.
mode. Um, Totally different from things that I can speak confidently about, right? But you have to know when you don't know, and just
Right.
it's. I think, and even when you know, like for me, had I listened to the professionals about reticulated python, I would never have the experience that
Mm-hmm.
I had with mine.
Yep.
Even down to with people feeling that they can't feel and this that look, I don't know what you call it, and I can't give you the scientific word for it, but I can tell you that each one of my animals have different emotions, or display different reactions. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
they're reactive in different ways to different things, and with some of them, it's hey, let me climb on you and just let me climb. With some of them, it's let me climb, let me tuck, let me get cozy. That is a desire for each snake. It's like, and they do the same things. Like I can tell you pretty much which each one of them are going to do on a normal day, unless
Yep.
it's a weird day. I can tell you what they're going to do when they come out, where they're going to go. Like they're
Yep.
so methodical.
That's how you know you're in tune with your snakes and you pay attention to their behavior. Because I've been bit a lot, but 9 times out of 10, most of the times that I've been bit haven't
It's
been
your
by my
fault.
snakes. No, I haven't been by my snakes. They've been other people's snakes. My
Okay.
snakes personally, you know what I'm saying? My snakes personally, I'll be like, oh shoot, I didn't feed him. So when I open his tub, he gonna shoot
Uh
out.
huh.
So let me stand my berm to the T. I can be like, let me stand. Matter of fact, let me get my big snake hook. I'm gonna stand back here and I open it like clockwork. I'm like, you thought, and then I'll give Miss Rat. He good. My green tree python, he's normally friendly, but I know if I go an hour past feeding day for that snake, when I tell
Hmm.
you that snake is like clockwork, once I go do the lock, his head is at the door. Like, you better have that rat. If it's not, I'm biting your hand. I'm like, oh, bro. Emerald Tree Boa always on 10. Luther, he's pretty chill for the most part. The blood python, if I go to open his door and he head up there, you don't want to be messed with today. So I'm not gonna do it. So,
Sounds good to me.
yeah.
That's how I am with my golden child. When she do this, I'm like, okay, door closed, door locked. See you. And you can go back in 30 minutes sometimes. Like sometimes my son will come down and she'll see him and she'll advance right to him. That's how you know she want to come out. She'll come to the door like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
open the door. But Yeah, I don't mess with her if she bumps. Yeah, and it's other ones that can bump me, and I'll still go and do what I gotta do. If she bumps, the damn door gets closed. Peace. See you tomorrow. I'm not trying to go down that road. I'm not trying to win that fight. I understand that most likely I will lose, and I'm just going to just back this
Listen,
thing up. That's all.
I tell people all the time,
Esteban,
it ain't
every time you tell that story, that cracks me the hell up.
snakes be over there messing up his game, trying to get his swerve on. They be over there like, I had was it my blood python farted in my hand one night. I was like, I was I was happy it wasn't a turd, but I could feel the air, and it was kind of interesting. And I was just like, it was just like a booty whistle, and I was like, what the heck is that? It was that was the first time I heard it, but he was in my hand. And with blood pythons, you have to support the whole body, otherwise they can get a little antsy, and 9 times out of 10, that's how you get bit by a blood python. And I had him right here, and my hand was back here, right by his little
Mhm.
hole, whatever, anal gland, whatever. And man, he was like, and I was just like, did you just fucking fart on me? Bro, I was tripping.
So, see, so I only had a ball python for 5 months now, but I'm looking into owning a boa. What do you feel about that being a second reptile for a first time snake owner? Boas are good.
They are. It depends on what species of boa. We talking
Oh
rainbow
yeah, yeah,
boa,
right.
red
That's
tail
true too.
boa, or
Right,
tree boa.
exactly.
Because they can. I mean, it's viper boas, but it dumerals. But it just depends on what species we're talking about, because all of those boas I just named vary in size, and their care is going to be different. You can't.
Well, I would say the care too between
Yeah,
boas. Like I
yeah.
wouldn't want a rainbow boa. I don't like anything that needs because I'm in Maryland,
Hmm.
high humidity constantly.
So
Like
you
even
have
with
a.
the green tree python, you know what I mean? Like it's tough keeping that humidity ideal, and it's a must for them because I'm not helping his ass
Yeah, but
shed.
but see, the thing I like
He
about
has to
the
shed on
the
his
thing I like
own.
about rainbow boas is you don't have to put them in. They like to climb. But unlike green tree
Okay.
pythons that have to go in an arboreal setup, you can put them in a PVC enclosure with height, and they can climb on it. Um, I love rainbow boas, and I plan on getting another one. But any boa as a baby has the ability to be snippy, so that's one thing to keep in mind. For the most part, they're fine. But the one thing I would say you should think about first is what species you're gonna get, and then maybe look at what size can you handle full size. Because I don't want to recommend a common boa, because my male, as you see, I don't know if they can see this, but my male up here in the picture, he's a 7-year-old, 7 foot male common boa. Males typically don't get that big. My emerald tree boa, not big yet. Dumerose boas get a nice size, and they're typically ground boas. And then you have red tail boas that can get up to 12 foot, and they are climbers. So it really just depends on what species of boa we're talking about. And yeah, even BCI, some of them can be feisty. And like I said, they
Yeah, the
still get a nice size.
only one of my boas was feisty was my pastel dream monster tail when he was a baby. But
Mhm.
like you said, I'ma still pick him up. Like it's to be funny, he will huff, he was huffy and everything. Still gonna pick you up. I'm gonna let you
Yep.
strike, turn. You gotta do those things. But when you do that, it gets out of them quickly. Like they get comfortable
Well, they,
quickly.
they 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 understand, and no matter what they do, you still gonna do what you got to do. Like my boa Bane, and Bane's about this big.
Keisha
He's
Terrence, I don't
pretty
know which one
big.
it is.
What's going on?
It's
Um,
Terrence because he says, "Good afternoon, beautiful people."
can you say Terrence one more time?
Terrence. Terrence.
But Bane, my Motley, he's the only snake I can pick him up, and he will be in my hand and be hissing at me the whole. And I'm just like, I'll just talk to him. He don't strike. I'm like, what's your attitude? What's your problem? But I know not to put my hand in his face. But I'll hold him, and I'm like, what's going on? Why you acting like that? I'll put him back in, and I'll just kind of pet his back, and he hissing the whole time. And then what? He's another one. He's a diva. Once I give him his food, he's like, all right, bro, leave me alone. But
Yeah, I think all of my boas now are, I mean, none of them except for that one was nippy, and all of them are pretty good. So for me, what I say about boas is people will say that reticulated pythons are strong. They are. but you can get they fluid. You can get them to move. Boas, like that's like prying a claw of a 15-foot Mack truck off of something.
Yeah.
They do not, if you cannot get that tail off of whatever, it's so much harder. So for me, retics are easier to handle than my larger boas.
You
As
gotta have a
crazy
way
as
with
that
them.
may seem.
You gotta have a way with him because Luther, I don't know if anybody's ever seen me like take him out and do videos with him. As big as he is, homie can move and he's still very active. And I like that he's like that because I get to show people like just because he's big, like a lot of people think the bigger the snake, the slower they are. Hell no. Because that, like again, that strike range is serious. And the way I handle him, he could easily turn around and get me in my face or anywhere. And I'm just like, oh, it's a wrap. But I deal with him to a point where he's comfortable and I let him move. So basically, even with like a little snake, I do hand to hand. With him, I do hand to hand, and just my arms get a little tired quicker because he's like 24 pounds and he's 7 foot. So 24 pounds stretched out to 7 foot. 24 pounds isn't heavy. When you stretch it out to 7 foot, listen, y'all, most of y'all met me at Tinley. Y'all know I'm a little dude. That's tiring. You know what I'm saying? Like, man. What about Nicaraguan? Same goes for Nicaraguan boa. Those are Central American boas, if I'm not mistaken. So I usually they're very similar to the common boas, so they can have some of the same temperament. So it really just depends. I would say do your research, and even then, no matter what research you do, any boa can have a bad temperament. Any boa can have a good temperament. It's really all about what you're prepared to handle. Because
Yep.
I got 14 snakes. Not all of my snakes have come in friendly, and I'm okay with that because they're all friendly now. Well, we're working on his retic. The Emerald Tree Boa, whatever, just let him do his thing. But we have an understanding. But a lot of people will say, well, how are these snakes? And it's you got to understand each individual, there's a species reputation, but there's also an individual reputation as well. Blood pythons are known to be mean, but Kato, my blood python, super friendly, super chill, but it took work to get there. So that's why people are like, well, what about this? I'm just like, it's going to vary. You got to get out there and experience it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you go to a show and you hold in one and it don't bite and you fall in love with it, then maybe think about getting that one. But other than that, it's hard to judge an entire species based on what a couple of snakes can do or what, 3 or 4 snakes have been known to do. It's not always, it's like saying all pit bulls are aggressive. It's individual.
Yep, Keys. I'm repping Big D. But everything's on the back. But yes, representing, representing. Yep. Another thing that again, the love he showed, free T-shirts. Thank you very much. He made sure he set his people off with a free T-shirt. Yeah, 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 yeah.
All in time, effort.
George
Yep.
says exactly all in time and effort, but don't mean one in a meal is a demon. Yeah, so I also think it's important to who breeds the animals. Like my retics, and I said most of them come from Jim Jolly, and he handles them a lot.
Mhm.
I know that Garrett Hartle handles them a lot. Like so,
Yeah,
it
yeah, Garrett's a
depends
good guy. I like Garrett.
also,
Hmm.
yeah, where you get them from. I think like when I look at the dwarf that I got him from Samson Pruitt, and then y'all know Samson breed a whole lot of animals.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that this one didn't get all of the handling that it needed. It's not a bad. He's not a mean snake at all. Like I said, he's just a little
Defensive
defensive,
look, yeah.
but he's sweet when he comes out.
And
Very
I've
sweet.
I've never been worried. So I'm gonna let y'all know a little secret on this live. I have purchased an IMG boa, which is coming soon. I'm very excited about it. Let me see if I can show y'all a picture real quick. While I'm looking for it, basically, I've never really been worried about the temperament of a snake when I get them because I know my routine and I know how I handle my snakes. Literally, yeah, I'm always wearing a hoodie because I love this pocket. I used to walk around with, with my green tree python
In the pocket.
and go play some PS. Kato was sitting here and I'd be playing a game. He poked his little head out. There was one time I fell asleep and I woke up and he was crawling on me. And I was like, oh, but I mean, it happens, but it's really all about bonding with the snake. And I have no issues with it at all. It's really you
Keith
put your
said the
time
ever
into it.
retrieval will have all the space he needs. It's a no for me. Come on, Keith.
Hey, hey, they make great display snake. All right, so
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all can see, but that's the IMG bow I'm getting. So he's a Motley Jungle IMG, 66% het type 1 entry. So I'm
Okay.
probably not going to breed him either. He's literally going to be like a show animal. I can't wait till he turns. I seen his dad. His dad is like jet black. His dad is like black as my kneecaps. So I'm super excited about that. And I got a name and everything picked out for him. So ain't nobody gonna be able to tell me nothing for a while. I'm gonna feel like part of the elite crew, but I'm excited.
Oh, you already a part of the elite. You my
Hey,
friend.
I'm never complacent. I'm gonna make sure when it's all said and done,
So
they
you
know
gonna
who
be gonna
Dre
keep
is.
climbing to the elite.
Listen,
Um, yeah. So outside of the IMG Bowl, what is your next you think major purchase?
mm, yes, reign of the kneecaps.
Hey sis.
Honestly, I really want to. Oh dang, I ain't. Y'all just getting all the information. So I lost my white lip python in January. My northern white lip
Did
python
I know
Loki.
that? Did you do a video or anything on it?
We may have
I
talked
don't think
about it
I
at
did.
10 Lee, but I think he was drunk.
Oh, I'm sure I was.
But
Anytime at Tilly, I was drunk. I'm letting y'all know I was drunk the whole time. But go
so
ahead.
I had went out of town and I come back and I keep everybody has glass water bowls and he tipped his over and got trapped under it. But I wasn't able to get back for like 3 days. When I tell you that is probably one of the snakes that I've cried because I cried over that snake because it took me 2 years to get that snake.
I remember you
I
saying
brought
how
that
much.
snake literally back to life. I took him to the vet, got him a clean bill of health, and he was
I
doing great.
remember that.
And I cut and gone. So I'm pretty like I'm very salty about that. So I definitely want to get another one. But I was excited about him growing out and everything like that. But I
Hmm.
didn't post it on Instagram or anything because I still just haven't.
Dealt with it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You always got to deal with those. The Instagram
Hmm.
vets and the YouTube vets, and well, you should have did this. And man,
The
I ain't gonna
snake
say it.
died, right?
I ain't gonna say
Shut
the f
up.
bomb on your podcast, but it be coming out like water
Right.
sometimes. But that's the one thing about like being on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You can probably relate to Gershon, Antoine, Keys. Like when you put yourself out there, people are gonna have something negative to say about you, and we are black, so at least from my experience, we're scrutinized even more. You know what I'm saying? You could
Hmm.
literally say the slightest thing, and somebody will give you a whole paragraph. And guess what? I don't respond to it because 9 times out of 10, I ain't got time to read it. I don't care. If you don't like it, then don't watch it. But I mean, yeah. So I want to get another white lip python for sure because that is that is a snake I have to have in my collection. But other than that, I think the only snake that I really, really, at least as of right now, things always changing. As of right now, Bolin's Python, but that's gonna be way down the line because the cheapest one I've seen so far was like 8,500. I ain't got the type
Yeah. And Nerd has some really, really nice ones. And I literally could have got one for just 8 grand. I my concern with the bowlers for me again is
Mhm.
that humidity thing. They need so certain animals that you can like okay it can waver. Bowling's got to be on point. And if I'm gonna spend that kind of money on the animal,
Well, buy me one. I'll take care of it.
I'm
Hey,
telling you, even with wait a minute, even with getting these breeding ball pythons, like I look at it different. Like so, I was telling somebody the other night, retics, spending money on them. It's a big snake, right? That's how I think, and it would be the design that I want.
hmm
These ball pythons, I'm looking at you, little expensive little mama. You better not die. You better not ever die. You better
listen.
breathe first before you
So
get out of here.
since then, I've
So
been so OCD about like the snakes. So I be over there and making sure. So hold on, who is so wavy?
so baby. Called you? Oh, is they calling you T-Pain?
Yeah, I've been hearing that. I want to know who that is before I crack some jokes on the live. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Look, I know who it is, I bet, but I don't know the name so wavy. It's somebody that we know, I'm sure.
I don't know. I ain't on my Facebook.
Uh-uh.
That's why he got bald spots in his waves. But go ahead.
Raina said, I'm about to receive my first ship snake suit. How do you guys suggest I unbox? I'm scared of that process. Girl, open the box and
That's
take it out.
that's the best part.
Yes. And actually, Raina, that's the best time. The snake is normally calmer from the shipping and everything.
Hmm.
It's normally, if they're going to be defensive, it's going to be when you go back to get them. So you
Just
can
go ahead.
unbox a good snake, and then 2 days later, it's hell.
Best way I do it is I just like put my hand in the bag and I turn my head and just reach my hand down there blind and just pull them out. I don't have no problem. I did that with the Cayman and bit the shit out of me.
No, I think my
Yo.
funniest unboxing was when I unboxed the first retic, the Golden Child, and I did it live. And I was so nervous. And I never forget, John Jones was the first person I had tagged, and then he tagged Randy and some other people, Sincere. All of them was watching. And John was like, you might want to put the glove on the other hand. I was so scared I had the glove on wrong, had the hook in the
Listen,
wrong hand. But
listen.
like with ball pythons, I just pull them out the bag. Even with the retics after the first one, tap the same thing I do now. Put the hook on them and pick them up, and they're fine. You just gotta open the box. They're gonna be just so happy to get the hell out the box. That's normally the best time to get them anyway.
Yeah, that came and taught me my lesson about reaching the bag blindly because I reached in there and my finger must have been right at the face of his mouth because he bit that like it was a pinky mouse. I was like, oh shoot. Man, I pulled my finger out quick.
Yeah, I think the Asian water monitor was funny. He just kind of climbed up and climbed. I did that live too. Just kind of climbed up and sat right on my shoulder.
Hmm.
So that was a fun unboxing, and that was the day I got two retics and the Asian water monitor on the same day. So I did the two retics first live, and everybody was like, "The water monitor." They wanted to see me open the water monitor. He was the uneventful one. He just came out, just
Oh,
sat right up on my shoulder.
the beaded lizard came out spicy too. I mean, he was this big and he came out with his mouth open. Like I'm glad they can't jump because my ass would have got bit because he was not playing. He's still somewhat feisty, but he does better now. I use gloves when I go in and grab him and I'll place them on my hand and he does better. But now I just
Yay,
reach in.
Bosa. Right, Raina. Raina, make sure you record it. Yes, Bosa. We with that. And you're going to have to share it on the Instagram so we can all see it. That would be a good video, a good ice breaking live for you, Raina.
I agree. Gonna be like my what's his name, James
Thank
Williams.
you.
When he had that boa, he was just like, shoot, hey, that's probably one of the funniest videos I've ever seen.
He said he just reached and grabbed Peak first, Dookie. So yeah, that's another thing. Sometimes Raina, when they travel, they might store the bag. Like they just be happy to get out. So Raina, come on, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. Raina, you and Bosa have the same fear. So this will be your ice breaking video, and then we can encourage Bosa to do an ice breaking
so
video.
so so what you can do, they come in the bag, put your hand out and just gently slide the snake onto your hand. That's something I do. It just depends on how they come to you. Some of my snakes have come in deli cups, and most of my snakes come in bags. But the easiest way for me, so you don't get bit and you can kind of keep the nerves down, slide them onto your hand because they feel the
Live
warmness of your body and
feeding.
they'll be a little relaxed. But reaching in there, I was joking about that. That's probably the quickest way to get bit.
I do. I just reach in and pull them out. Like
That's because you're a rebel.
no, it's not a rebel.
Rebel,
I'm not opening. I'm
rebel
not
without a
opening Caymans.
cause. You
I'm
said
not
what?
opening Caymans. You
I
better
learned my
believe.
lesson. Shoot.
Yeah, I'm not sticking my hand in anything that says Cayman or alligator, anything like that. I'm going
I
to
mean,
need to see
but
where
it's
the
funny
mouth
because now,
is.
even now, when I reach in his tank, he be trying to bite me. I
So
just, I
man.
just go ahead and just, and then I gotta put my fingers, put his head right here, so because he be trying. But I'm like, you know what? Come with the territory.
Yeah, Bo, so we got to get you on. You got too much love in that heart not to share with the world. Bo, so like I do mine on the from behind the scenes. I'm not getting on that screen.
It'd be like that sometimes. You don't know what to expect.
Like, nope, not doing it. All right, so with the carpet pythons, you only
Hmm.
have the one, and the carpet python and the green tree python are from the same family, right? They're both Moralia, right?
Mariah, yep.
Moralia. So what do you think is the difference? Why is the temperament so different between a carpet and a green tree? Because both of them are arboreal technically, right? Or one
So
is more
they're
arboreal than the
yeah,
other.
the green trees are more so
Okay,
arboreal, but carpets are semi-arboreal. They're both
got you.
terrestrial and climbing. Honestly, I don't think the temperaments are any different. I just think the carpets are more handleable and they're bigger snakes, so it's easier for them to kind of be tolerable versus the green tree pythons. They're a little more fragile. They have that tail they use for caudal luring. So if you've never seen a green tree python, they have a blue tail at the tip. And they use that for what's called caudal luring. And basically, what that is they'll wave it back and forth and wait for a mouse or a bird or something to come by. And once they come investigate to see what it is, they'll eat them basically. So their tails can break off very easy versus carpet pythons.
Hey,
They're not as
hey.
fragile. Now, I'm not saying just yank them off, but they're not as fragile. But carpet pythons as babies, oh, they're nippy as hell. Definitely nippy. They're any, at least from my experience, any snake from Africa or Australia, good luck because
Say good luck.
they gonna give you a run for your money. Rashad 212xoticz. I remember when he first got his carpet. He was like, "Hey, how you put up with this?" Because homeboy done bit me a couple times. And the same thing with the blood. And I tell him like, bro, just be consistent, bro. And now he like, okay, cool, I got it, and doing good. But yeah, the temperament is similar, but like I said, since carpet pythons are a little more handleable, they're not as fragile and they're bigger. I feel like they kind of tame down easy. But I've seen some people with some pretty crazy carpet pythons that just don't matter what you do. They're like, nah, bro.
See, I think whatever I have, I can tame down, and
Mm-hmm.
just my thought. And I think it's just that, like you said, intentionally, we're going to deal with each other. We have to. One of the things I did with the retics, and Randy told me, even when they're young, put your body in their
Mm-hmm.
enclosure so they understand that y'all going to share that space. And so now with the bigger retics, I can clean while they
Mm-hmm.
still in there. I don't even have to take them out if they in shed or anything like that. I can leave them in there because they have gotten used to it. It's like small tips like that. Again, when you're
Mm-hmm.
educating yourself, like people, when I say experience as a teacher, you got to go by the people who have actually
Done it.
raised these animals
Yeah.
and done it right. Forget what the books say. I don't even, in fact, don't come at me with the book. I want to see the people who actually own them.
Yeah, I mean, but also the book is it's not the only way to do it.
That's right.
Ain't no book gonna tell you to put a snake in your pocket and walk around and go play the PS4.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's how I tamed down my blood python. And then a lot of people don't really know exactly what handling is. A lot of people just think grabbing the snake out and then putting them in your hand and then trying to that's not always
No,
handling.
right.
Handling is literally
Right.
bonding with the animal. So for my blood python, so the thing about blood pythons, they're one of the few snakes where short positive interactions are best for them. So I would pull Kato out because Kato was mean as shit. I would
Mm-hmm.
pull him out literally for 2 minutes. I would sit him on the floor and I would sit next to him and I would scroll on my phone. I wouldn't even touch him. And I would let him crawl on my legs and let him do his thing. And then once he got comfortable, and after that, I would get my snake hook, pick him back up, put him back in his tub. We good. And I would repeat that process a couple times a week till I got to a point where now I still use my snake hook because homeboy, he took his head out the hide. I'm like, hey, what we got going on? But now Kato is about 4.5 foot, and I can pet him on his head, his chin, and he can be face to face with me. We won't have a problem.
Yep.
So it's really when I think of handling, I think of building the bond and really kind of getting into that snake's head that you are not a threat, you are not a predator. Because if you just put the snake on the floor and then leave the room, or if you put the snake on the floor and you keep making sudden movements, they're going to be shifty and they're not going to feel comfortable. So I didn't care what time of day it was. There'd be times I'd go there like 2 in the morning and I would just pull them out, or I would sit them on my lap and he would sit there. And then I eventually worked up the courage to, when he would do that, I would start like just petting his back a little bit. And there, at first he would like tense up, and then once he like after a couple minutes he realized, but I would do that for a couple months, and I would just keep doing
Mm-hmm.
it till we got to a point where he's like, "You ain't so bad, bro. You ain't so bad." And then that's the approach I took with the majority of my animals. I couldn't do that with my green tree python. My green tree python was a neonate. It was nippy. So literally for the first year, my green tree python. Oh, sorry. The first year when I had my green tree python, I never handled him. If I had to take the perch out, I used the glove because it was a striking thing. But that's back when I was still learning about him. I was like, oh, but now I'm like, okay, cool. But my blood python, the rainbow boa, the motley, the rat snake is still kind of crazy. All of them, I kind of just took the same approach, but I would just take them out and let them just kind of, instead of putting them in my hand, let them do their thing, I would just put them on me and let them climb on me. That way they get to feel your body heat. Even in some of my earlier videos, you would see I always have a snake around my neck, and they would be exploring, and that's just kind of how I did it. Super easy, super chill. And I would literally, the thing with me though is like I'm a night owl, so I would literally be in my reptile room for hours, chilling. And I always, in that stage, I do every snake individually. I don't have more than one snake at a time. Especially in that stage because you just never know, and I don't want any bad reactions. I want that one-on-one time. So now it's to the point where I can have Kato out for like 2, 3, 4 hours at a time, and it's not an issue. So does good, but you just gotta build up that courage, and that's also how you get to learn your snakes. Um, you get to learn their behaviors and see what they react to, what they don't react to, and just how they move. Because now, if I wave my head, which I don't, if I wave my hand over Kato's head, he's not as
Mm-hmm.
fidgety, but I know he's still a snake and can still trigger him. So,
Got it. What videos do you think needs to be shown more on YouTube when it comes to reptiles? What do you don't see enough of?
um, I, like we all know what snakes eat, and we all know they have to eat, but I think we have too many people who just want to see snakes kill something. They just want to see them eat. So I just think we just need to just keep
Yep,
posting
peace.
more positive content of snakes, and a positive interaction versus like I seen somebody the other day, they had a Burmese python and they threw a freaking goat in the. I'm like, why is this on
Right.
YouTube? Like I understand if it was from an educational standpoint, cool. But the video I saw, somebody that was number one, that was in the room and they were smoking in the room with with the snakes, and they threw a freaking pygmy goat with this huge Burmese python, and I'm just like, bro, this is why we get a bad rap. So
Mm-hmm.
I just think more educational videos. So what you do with Rashawn, Keys, GP, Bosa, everybody, what we're all doing on YouTube, we just need to keep doing it. Unfortunately, we always gonna have those people in the community that just think that they can just do whatever because it's getting them views. But snake is going to eat. They ain't going to turn down a meal. But I mean, we still have
Exactly.
to be able to get. What kills me is people are so quick to bash snakes and just like they are animals. Like just because it's not a dog or a cat, rabbit, guinea pig, fish, bird, or whatever, they still are animals. And TV just really got y'all screwed up. So I still have arguments with people. I got chased by a snake, and I'm just like, shut up. No, you didn't. You did not. But I
Right.
guarantee,
Right.
because 9 times out of 10, I'm like, first off, you don't look like you run that fast. Let me tell you that. Snake didn't chase you. You got in his space, and he went into his defense posture. That's all that
Mm-hmm.
happened. And people don't understand that. And no, no, I got chased. I'm like, okay, whatever you say.
Yeah, I think that so it's kind of tough because I when I think of my own YouTube page, it's some videos I do for children, but a lot of them just because my language slips up, it might not be for children.
Right.
But what I said I was going to try to do is more educational videos where my passion doesn't step in so much that I actually use bad words that
Hmm.
children can actually watch and follow. Um, But I also think that I would like to see when I went to school, I saw like we talked about reptiles, like that was
Mhm.
part of the educational process. Now we
Yeah.
probably didn't go into caimans and like I was grown when I learned that a American alligator and a crocodile were two different animals. I can't speak for anybody else. Shit, they was all the same to me. I didn't know that one lived in America and the other one was you would never see in Amazon, all that kind of stuff. I just didn't know that.
Mhm.
And I mean, even down to today, I always thought that an alligator was aggressive, and it's not. It's the crocodile that's way more aggressive than an alligator.
Now,
So,
from what I've seen, the difference is one will bite the hell out of you and one will bite the shit out of you. So
right, other than the fact that the heads are
either
way
way,
different, either way, this is not going to go well.
right? But
And that's the honest to God truth.
yeah, crocodiles get huge. But yeah, I feel you. I've always liked reptiles, but there's still like a lot that even I'm still learning. Like I'm like when it comes to like ball python morphs, there's a lot that I learned from y'all because like I don't look, y'all be like DGWxoticz. I'll be like, that sounds kind of sweet, I wanna see that out, you know what I'm saying? Or but when it comes to boas or berms, like I can break it down, or even blood pythons. I'm like, okay, T neck, T piles, 007
Right.
or whatever, but ball pythons, I'm like, I don't know.
I think the funniest thing was we were in Tinley the night that after we went to Big D's house.
Mhm.
By the time we got back to the hotel, they had my husband talking reptile ball python joke. What you just say? Like, so how many recessive genes do we have? And it's I'm looking at him like
Excessive and coat down. I mean, all
I'm
right.
like, oh, that they done got you. Got you. But he really enjoyed himself. But yeah, I think I like watching everybody's YouTube. Like I thought the coolest thing was when Adam reached out to me, Adam from Proper Royals.
Okay.
There are people who, and even Gershon, like I've been watching Gershon, like we're in the community together. We're watching each other, we're crossing those barriers. But this year it seems like so many of us are bringing it all together. Like, there's so many of us that are actually doing it jointly. And that's what
Right.
I like. That's what I like. I think that's what's going to make a difference when it comes to big legislation and stuff like that. We have to be on one accord. Like,
For
we're
sure.
odd in its own, right? We don't need to have little groups and silos within the community. We need to band together on certain scenarios,
Yeah,
like keeping our animals.
it's tough enough.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging. And again, for me, like I said, I think that sometimes people don't understand that owning reptiles is a privilege. So I always think of it for me and sometimes I sit in awe, sitting in my own house, like, dang, I have an animal from Asia.
Right.
I have snakes from Indonesia. This when you really think about that,
Yep.
that is a privilege. That's not, it's a privilege that, first of all, we can bring them into the country. It's a privilege to be able to buy them. It's a privilege to be able to learn about them, to keep them alive. Because just to keep our animals alive, that's it takes a lot of education. Where no one can wing a healthy reptile, you have to start dialing into what you're actually doing. So you can't not do
Yeah.
that.
And if you don't, it's not going to end well.
Yeah, it's not. It's that's just the absolute fact of it. But I do like that there's so much content out there now.
Hmm.
So many people that I get to follow for different reasons now. And whatever you want to learn, typically it's there. You just gotta, search it and seek it. And I think what I've learned too is that you guys utilize Instagram. I've never really utilized Instagram till last since January. I think that's when I
Hmm.
really started being active. I had it, I will post here and there, but I do see the value now of Instagram. Like I didn't
So,
even understand the hashtags and all of that kind of stuff. What was the purpose? Like, why the hell somebody got 50 hashtags up here? I
that's
get it now.
so basically what I did is I got my Instagram. Ooh, something in my eye. and I grew it. And once I started my YouTube, I literally promoted my YouTube on my Instagram, and that's where a lot of my subscribers came from. And so now all I do is no matter what platform I'm on, I cross promote myself. So if I literally just updated all of my links on Instagram and TikTok for my YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So I literally promote my YouTube and Instagram on TikTok. I promote my Instagram and TikTok on my YouTube. I promote my YouTube and my TikTok on my Instagram. So no matter what, you're gonna know that I got something else going on. So Instagram is probably my favorite tool as far as promoting and getting my name out there. And I tell people all the time, I don't care how cool you is with somebody, but ain't nobody gonna promote you like you. So you gotta get it out there.
Yep.
So I've had some people messaging me like, bro, can you stop posting that? And I'll just be like, nope, just did it again. Because I can't tell you how many times somebody posts something. I'm like, oh, dang, like I keep seeing this. And then eventually I'm like, let me go check this out, see what they're talking about. And
Right.
it is what it is. So self promotion is the best tool you can have. If you're not promoting yourself, you ain't going to get nowhere. I'm not paying for no sponsors. I'm not about to buy my way. No, I got 6,000 followers on Instagram. Come on. Come on. So every week, YouTube video, YouTube video, YouTube video. And then another thing that people like is consistency. So
Mhm.
it's the best thing.
Yeah, so I'm really consistent with the podcast. I got to get
Mhm.
better with being consistent with the videos, but what I'm getting better at too is listening to the feedback from my actual subscribers. So,
Mhm.
what they ask for is what I'm gonna give them going forward, not just what interests me, but more what interests them.
Mhm.
And then I'm having this big thing now. With having to the data constantly having to delete stuff to upload stuff.
Well,
That's driving me insane.
so the Tinley footage that I recorded Saturday,
Uh huh.
it's all gone.
You lying.
My memory card malfunctioned in Chicago. So when I went to upload it, my intro, everything from there, the whole day Saturday is gone. So
Wow.
when I out, man, I was so heartbroken. But I was like, you know what? Tinley will come back around. So
Yeah.
basically, what I'm still going to upload the footage because luckily all of the interviews that I did were on Sunday, so I have all of that footage. I got all of the
Okay.
footage I used for my GoPro as well, so it'll still be a good video. Um, and me and you need to get together so I can show you how to use that camera because you got the same camera as me. Whenever you stop ducking and dodging me, it's like the fifth time we talked about it.
I know. I
But
got the damn camera, right? Ben had the camera.
um,
Can't work it. I had the camera for 2 years.
that's a shame. I got mine 2 years ago, and I'm already ready to upgrade.
That's crazy. And then I won't let my husband touch it. He keeps saying, "You're not doing nothing with it. It's been sitting there for 2 years."
You could be doing so much work with that camera, and that's literally the best thing is like I noticed once I upgraded my camera and my visuals and my audios, people were just like, because that's the biggest thing that I had an issue with was my audio, like my earlier videos, because
Mhm.
I was trying new things. So like sometimes like I hate a video on YouTube and there's nothing in the background. And for every video I have, there's some light music just sprinkled in there, nice little beat. Because I don't like my voice. I get a lot of people. It's like, I love your voice. You should do voiceovers. You should do whatever. I hate it, but if y'all like it, I love it. Cool. But I like to just sprinkle in there this nice little tune, nice little beat just to kind of break it up. Because sometimes I'm like, hey, let me do this, and you just hear the beat just playing,
Right.
and it just adds a little more flavor, a little more character to the video. Because I don't like a super quiet video, and a lot of editing is for me. Editing is art. That's the best part of the process for me is editing the video. So I really try to put a lot into it, and man, yeah, we got to get you up to speed.
All right. So the goal was though. I felt when we got to the airport, I was like taking everything out to go to security. I was like, "Damn it! I forgot the camera. I was supposed to bring the camera."
Nah, we gonna set up some time for us to video call, and I'm gonna get my camera and I'm gonna show
Okay.
you. I'm gonna show you like the settings I have mine on because I'm to the point now where depending on what situation I'm in, I'll swap my settings. And that's just for me having the camera so long. But also, I have multiple lenses. So the big lens you see me use, That's the one. That's the Sigma lens. That's the one that gives me that really blurry background. I
Mm-hmm.
primarily only use that lens when I'm in the reptile room and I'm still and I want the lens to focus on the animal. So sometimes I'll have the snake right here. You'll see me do this a
Mm-hmm.
lot so it can focus. The other lens, which is the kit lens, is the one I take with me because it's a zoom lens and I can zoom in, zoom out, and it's still a good kit. That's the 15 to
Hey,
45
Deb.
milliliter. And then the Sigma lens is a prime lens, so it doesn't zoom, but it's a great lens for the talking head type of videos. So if you just standing in front and yeah, that I'm about to cover that GP. When you when you just standing in front of it, it just makes it look really nice. So to this point, turn your phone, girl. You be recording like an old lady. You gotta turn your phone sideways when you're
So
recording so you get
look,
that full view.
listen. If you look at most of, so this is the thing. What I learned, Gershon, after you told me that, for whatever reason on my iPhone, it only does that if I keep it straight up. If I turn it horizontal, for whatever reason, how it uploads in LumaFusion, then it turns it like it makes it look like I didn't do what you told me to do.
So
So
let
what
me
I'm
ask you a
doing now is
question.
keeping my phone the same way.
So let me ask you a question. When you
Hmm.
go into your phone, do you turn off your screen orientation?
I
What's that?
don't
This right
know.
here. You got to turn that button off. That way your screen turns and then everything will be horizontal for you.
Where was that again? At again?
Your control center. So if
I,
you
oh, my control center. Okay.
yeah, so if you pull down from top left, that little lock with the arrow, when you
Hmm.
record, hit that so it's off and then you can use it horizontal and because that's how I used to upload.
Okay.
And that is what makes your video horizontal.
Yeah. So that's what I had figured out when I was telling because I did do a Gershon, but I realized that in order for it to upload that way, I still have to keep the phone this way. So if you look at the last video, it's like it's right, but I
That's weird
recorded it this
because
way.
I can say because I use LumaFusion and I've never had that issue. Because there was a couple times where I uploaded mine upright, but then I was like,
Hmm.
I need to turn my portrait orientation off. And once I started doing that and recording, I never had any issues.
Got you.
And it's super easier. So just set a reminder, turn it off, and super easy. I can help you out with thumbnails too. It's literally I self-taught myself everything, and I don't think I'm the best, but looking at where I started, I was like, ooh, it looks a heck of a lot better. Kurtwood,
Hey,
what's going on,
Kurtwood.
man?
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. So that's what I'm gonna have you look at the settings on my editor.
Okay, yeah, let me yeah, we'll see what your aspect ratio is because
Yeah.
um when I that's I got LumaFusion right here on my MacBook. I got it on my iPad, and I've never had an issue. Usually, if you don't mess with those, so like when you go to create a new project, it does ask you like your frame rate and your aspect ratio. I don't touch any of that. I let it set itself automatically. So basically, I have mine set to um, mimic whatever the video is. So if I record my video at 30 frames per second, that's what it's going to be in. If it's recorded landscape, that's what it's going to be in. But now since I use a camera, I don't have any issues. But yeah, we can look into that
Okay.
because we're trying to all
Deb
grow
said
and
he's
thrive.
gonna still posting more. So you know what, Deb? Just do it because you know you got good content, good positive
Mm.
content. So just do it. You live all the time, so you can definitely do some YouTube videos for the world. All right. Does anybody have any other questions for the king around here? You know I couldn't let it go.
I
You
knew it
know
was
I
coming.
couldn't let it go.
I knew it was coming. She just can't help. You know what? You ain't getting back in my car.
He the king around
You
here.
ain't getting back in my car. Well, like I'm like, nah, your husband can ride with me to the hotel. You
But you
gotta walk.
can't.
Play too much.
That's what's up. Well, of course, as I knew it would be, it's been real. Just so you guys know, this was one of the I wanted to be one of my first guests, but I wasn't that important to him, so I had to wait until he could free. Wait till he can
What?
free up some of schedule.
You out here lying the day before church. Come on,
You said no. What was it? It was a post that you was off or you was taking a break, and I sent you a message. Well, once you finish taking your break, can you please come on the podcast?
and what happened? How did this happen today? I hit you up and was
I
like,
know
"So
you
is we
did out of
good?"
the blue. Out of the blue, you did. You did. I appreciate it. I
Black folks
appreciate it.
ungrateful, boy. I
I
tell
all of a
you.
sudden felt important again.
Whatever.
Yeah. Actually, Antoine, I have to watch a video that Antoine also did on the thumbnails. I got better with my thumbnails though, girl Sean. Wait till I post this one that's posted later. Y'all gonna look at that one and y'all can critique that one. Y'all can give me y'all little critiques on that one. It doesn't have music, Dre. I can tell you that. Because you gotta show me how to add the music in LumaFusion. If you look at some of my older ones when I was doing it on the movie editor, that one did have music because it was easier for me to add it. But once I learned how to add it to LumaFusion, I agree. I prefer the music in the background too.
So I get all of my music from YouTube Studio.
Okay.
Literally all of my music. It just so I'll edit the video
and I
first.
have the YouTube Studio too.
Yeah, I'll edit the YouTube video first, and then I'll kind of watch a little bit of it and just kind of see the vibe of how I'm talking, what I'm talking about, and that'll like basically let me know what type of song I should pick, what mood we going for. And I like the YouTube Studio because the songs are listed, like it'll have the title, it'll have the genre, but then it'll have the mood of the song. So like if it's like dark rap and it's just like a heavier beat, bright rap, or in was it like motivational rap. So it just kind of depends. But some of them be catchy. I'd be like, you know, so. And then plus you don't got to worry about the copyright infringement because it's from YouTube. So
Dan, put your YouTube in the links, and everybody else, put your YouTube in the links, please. And Dre's links are in the description. But Dre, tell everybody where they can find you everywhere on social media.
Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, DWxoticz.
And TikTok. So the funniest thing, wait a minute, I gotta show you this before you go. Hold on. Because I don't make this stuff up. Messenger. Let's see. So I get a message today.
Uh-huh.
And the person sends me this message and they send me this link. And then I click on it. And it was you. Hold on. Let me go. Shoot. Why is the thing bouncing around? All right, hold on. It said it would make my day. Come on. Okay. All right, here we go. I don't know why it's doing that now. When he sent it, it was you. It's just going into this random stuff now. I don't even know what this is.
Close out of your TikTok and then click. So exit out of your TikTok and then go back and click on that link again.
All right. So let me do that.
It does that every now and then. While you doing that, I'm gonna go follow was it Wild Boy Dev on YouTube.
So close out of my TikTok. All right, now let's see what happens.
Is it Wild Dev or Wild Boy Dev?
I think it's Wild Boy Dev. It should be Wild Boy Dev. Did you put? I think, Dev. Did you put your thing on the link? Anyway, I don't know why it keep going back to these random people, but that's not what it was. I clicked on it and it was you. So I sent him the message back saying, LOL, this is a close friend. I am actually interviewing him today. He said, damn, really? I saw the post and I thought of you. But it was the video where you was asking to, on count of 3, and you had the Cayman.
I just did that one a couple of days ago.
Yeah, he said, I thought this would make your day. That was the caption to the video. It's pretty cool.
I found his YouTube, Gershon. So when you type in Wild Boy, it's BOYY. So it's 2 Y's. But yeah, I just sent you a subscribe, bro. But yeah, I literally just did that one a couple of days ago. I did like 4 TikToks that day. I was feeling myself apparently. And yeah, because that one's got like 15.
You got to make people blue, Nicole. We're going to teach you how to do that. Okay. All right, cool. Let me see. You know, it might be right here on the side. Hold on, let me see. No, it says put user in timeout. Kurtwood, it wants me to put you in timeout. What you done did? No. What you doing? Um, yeah, y'all gonna have to show me that. That's my YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Wild Boy Dev. Yeah, it's up there. Really appreciate y'all for real. Of course, of course, of course. Let me see. I'm still trying to test to see if I can make somebody blue. I'll do it on. I'll figure it out. It got to be right here though, somewhere. All right. Are any of you going to the NRBC show next month in Missouri? I'm not. The next one I'll be at will be in Daytona and will be in Arlington and definitely Tinley in October.
I'm going out to Cali to the Super Show.
He makes me sick. Where you going?
It's in August.
Wait a minute. So is that the same time as Daytona? Or is it
Daytona is the
Daytona?
20 is the end of August. This is the 12th
Okay.
and the 13th. So that's why I was like, I'm not gonna make Daytona. Plus, I've never been to Cali. I've been to Florida millions of times. I can always go to Daytona. But when I got my sight set on something, whether it be about a reptile, the enclosure, I have this bad habit of continuously watching YouTube videos on it. So I've been watching mad
Thank
YouTube
you.
videos on this reptile super show, and it looked like it's bigger than Tinley as far as space, but Tinley is still kind of like my favorite show. But I'm just trying to branch out and reach as many people as possible because thanks to
Yeah.
YouTube and Instagram, I have followers everywhere, and I'm trying to meet as many people as possible. Get this logo everywhere, and everybody know exactly who I am. But I gotta go to Cali. I got to.
Yeah, like I said, I've heard it's a good one. I'm, I, when I have to go to Cali, I go, but it's the one place that like that in Hawaii. If I'm going to be on a plane that long, I need to be in Dubai.
It's just 6 hours.
6 hours can get me in Turks and Caicos, drunk in the middle of
Listen,
a ocean in
you
six
need
hours.
your your liver called me early. You said you need to do better. He said he's sick of it.
The funny thing is, that's why I'm drinking Coke today. I'm telling you, after last week, I can't drink nothing else this
Coke ain't
week.
better than liquor. That is barbecue water. It's disgusting. Man.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
But yeah,
All
Reptile
right.
Super Show is gonna be lit. I can't wait. Gonna be a lot
Well,
of fun.
we can get you can get some good footage for us.
Oh,
And then I'm gonna
we
try when
gonna
I go
link
to
up at another
Daytona to
show.
do some footage. I just didn't want to do footage in Tinley because I wanted to be focused on the show and the fact that I don't know what my footage would have looked like if y'all had to count on me to be taking some good videos at that
Honestly,
moment.
I'll be telling my subscribers, y'all gonna get whatever footage come out of this camera. But no, that's the one thing I do like my subscribers, I call them my exotic family. They super supportive because it be videos that I be putting out and I'll be like, I don't know how they gonna react to this. I don't like the video, but I want to put something out. And they be like, bro, we love it. I think they be lying sometimes, but I appreciate the lies, and I'm gonna keep accepting them.
As long as you
Um,
like, share, and subscribe.
as
Like,
long
share,
as
and subscribe.
as long as y'all supporting me, I'm gonna keep on putting it out there. Yeah, hit the super show. I'm going to the one in Pomona. So they have one in Anaheim. I'm going to the one in Pomona in August. Well, I'm trying to at least. Ain't nothing solidified yet because the way these gas prices looking and plane tickets are looking a little crazy.
Right.
Might
Wait a
have
minute,
to
you're not going to drive there, are you?
hell no, I am in Ohio. Who,
Oh,
man,
I
you
was
tripping.
like, say.
That's why I said. That's why I said we're gonna see what these plane tickets is looking like because the gas
Oh, I
gas went
thought
up
you
for
said,
everything, so they
okay,
got to
got
fuel the
you.
plane.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so far round trip from where I'm at is like 450. Okay, yeah, but round trip it's not horrible, and it's it's in August. I got some months, but I'm trying to make sure because I'm going to Puerto Rico in September for my birthday. So I'm trying to make sure everything is situated financially.
Right.
But yeah, I gotta hit the Super Show for sure.
Okay.
And we're gonna meet
Well,
back up at Tinley. I don't know if I'll make it to
yeah,
October,
back
but
up
we'll
at
see.
Tinley. Daytona's going to be fun too. But I get it. Get good footage at the Super Show, and
Oh, for sure. That's gonna be
but
it.
I do hear that's a good one. I've heard that
Yeah.
multiple times.
I one of these shows I plan on bringing something home.
Okay.
We'll see. Let's say that for another conversation.
Yeah, you always sneaking in something.
You know it.
Like, wait a minute. Make sure you make it clear to me if I'm supposed to be quiet at night, because you know me. It's like, Dre got blah 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 blah.
I just ain't gonna tell you. You ain't about to put me on blast.
Oops. Oh my goodness. All right, but of course it's been real. Thank you for coming through. Thanks everybody for hanging out for us at this special time. You know, because the king this time was all wrapped around him, so I had to make it happen.
Me and you
But
gonna have some problems.
but of course, you know, one of my favorite people, all jokes aside, definitely one of the first people that I started following when I first started even considering doing YouTube, and you know, just mad respect. So thank you for coming on. I
Same
hope your
here,
day
same
get
here.
better than it started out.
How we gonna work that out? I ain't tripping about
Yeah,
that. That's what insurance is for.
that's right. That's right. And you know, in this, you know, as long as you okay, that's all. That's the only question I had. And once we got past that, we're good. But
Yeah,
peace
yeah, I'm
out,
good.
everybody. Thanks for everybody for staying through with us. Definitely check Dre out on DWxoticz Instagram, DWxoticz YouTube,
TikTok,
DWxoticz TikTok.
TikTok.
Yep. And definitely check him out on TikTok. Dre has some really good TikToks. I
I
gotta
be
get
bored. I
back
just be
to
putting
doing
stuff
them.
together.
Nicole, we going python hunting together. Yeah, in a breeding closet or something. I'm telling you, you ain't gonna get me in no woods. I outgrew those days. That was when I was young and dumb. That was before I knew what was really in the woods. Thank you, FNA. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Always appreciate you guys coming through. Great company, always. But until then, peace out, everybody. Oh, wait a minute, hold on.
What
And
you ain't
stay
did.
exotic.
Stay exotic.
Peace.
You know it.
I
You
like
know
that.
it.
I
You
like it.
know it.
Yep, we're gonna
Yeah.
get me one.
Uh-huh.
Yep, yep, yep.
I got you. All right.
All right, Dre. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.